Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. And in today's stream, I am just going to be sit back and chilling while I work some more on this animation, do my second pass for this fight. And it's been quite fun and quite entertaining, if I do say so myself, to work on this. You know what? I started my stream and I forgot where I put my. Oh, there it is. I was looking for the pen to my graphic tablet. It is 10 o'clock on the dot, and I'll likely go on till, let's say 12:30, maybe 12:45. So that's a goal for myself. So, how is everyone? How's everyone's day going? Everyone's weekend, and so on and so forth. I am so surprised and so concerned because a lot of people are getting fired at my job. But like for some reason I have been fired. I mean, I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth, but it's kind of strange how people are quitting my job or getting like fired sporadically, and I'm just like, what the heck? Like, what's going on? It's kind of wild and crazy because it's not that I'm looking to be fired, but there are definitely moments and times where I've thought like, oh, they're going to like, oh, I have too many absences, they're going to fire me, or oh, this, that, and the third, I might give like I don't do anything illegal or problematic. I'm actually like very nice to people. And over where I work, they do have some new people that don't really know what they're doing. I'm gonna be completely honest. I also saw the new episode of Has Been Hotel, and I definitely like the animation style for its medium because I try to animate humanoid characters, and my style is not stylized in the slightest. It's very humanoid. Like I don't exaggerate my proportions or anything, so it's kind of hard for me to keep my animations consistent. So when I see a good art style like Pop style, which is nothing similar to the, you know, serialized CalArt style of animation. It's actually really good and it's a nice break. And I just hope and pray that I can gather my own style and understanding of animation to create a reliable and re and a style that is easily reproduced for future projects and goals. And I will say that watching Has Been Hotel, it definitely, as a Christian, like Has Been Hotel gives me a lot to think about. But as much as it gives me to think, it even pushes me more to read my Bible and to say the word more, especially to pray for discernment because a lot of the difficulties that Christians have is that they do not look at metaphor. Like, that is one of the greatest weaknesses of the Christian faith. And, and, and I say the Christian faith because there is a difference between Christianity as religion and Christianity when it comes to kingdom. Like, there is a difference and there is a dichotomy between that, and I can get to that in either later in the stream or in a future stream that will have like its own dedication to it. But essentially, in the 90s, because I did research on this, in the 90s there was an event known as the Satanic Panic, where Christians and Bible thumpers believed that everything was satanic. And I am not knocking them because, like many Christians, there is a spiritual world, or there are like spiritual connotations, feelings, and just a presence around the world. Like, there's just some things that you can feel in that can only be described as your soul or your sixth sense or however else you want to call it, where you just know something is evil or wrong. So there is a spiritual world, but in the 90s there was an occurrence of dubbing everything satanic and everything evil. Cartoons were seen as evil, video games were seen as evil, Pokemon was seen as evil, but those were scapegoats for the actual evils that were occurring, like Hollywood and like the back alley deals of Hollywood. And so, where was I going with this? In the 90s, there was the Satanic Panic, which was when Christians and Bible thumpers believed that everything was demonic, everything was satanic and of the devil. And so, in that, they demonized everything, called everything evil, called everything of the devil and satanic and demonic, to the point where many people, especially the young and the youth, turned away from the church because many youthful people believed that they couldn't enjoy anything, they couldn't do anything without the church calling it demonic. Like that, the main reason why now in 2020 and like 2024 in this 20s era, the main reason why people are not in the church is directly related to the satanic panic of the 90s. And so, what Christians have trouble grasping is that stories are a foundational aspect of the human experience. The Bible itself is a series and record of stories and history. So, you can't really discredit stories. You can't really call everything satanic and everything evil because the Bible itself is a storybook. But the thing is that not every story is good or positive. And for the sake of entertainment or for the sake of pushing the narrative around, not every story is going to be sunshine and rainbows and happiness. Like you are going to see and get stories of like some very heinous things. And it's not to glorify Satan and it's not to excuse bad behavior, but there are building blocks and roadblocks and structures to stories that draw people in that aren't necessarily an excuse of certain actions and behaviors, but more so run in line of pushing the narrative forward to have a better and more refined outcome or an easily understood conclusion and layout. Which is why anime is so much enjoyed, especially by the black community, because while black people are some of the most religious folks, we also like and enjoy storytelling. You could almost say it's in our DNA, especially given our relation to stories and to the transatlantic slave trade, where because much of our history was stolen from us, we in fact had to rely on storytelling to preserve what little identity we had left. Christianity, in my genuine opinion, I think that Christianity would benefit from storytelling. And I don't just mean a copy paste recreation of Bible stories like the Prince of Egypt, because, well, yes, there is a place for that. I do think that we need more 2D and 3D masterpieces, especially more 2D masterpieces. Like Prince of Egypt is, for a lack of a better word, a cult classic. People just love the Prince of Egypt that much. Like it's awesome. It's a animation phenomenon. People love it. It's one of the greatest adaptations of the Bible story in the history of mankind. And I will die on that hill. But many shows, many shows and movies have Christian inspirations. Lord of the Rings with their Valar and Maiar, that is definitely Christian inspired with like, the angels and God on high. Like the Valar and Maiar are practically inspired by Christianity. What's the other one? The one by C.S. Lewis. Narnia. The Narnia series is heavily inspired by Christianity. Aslan, that lion, he was inspired by Jesus himself. Jesus was called the Lion of Judah. And this all boils down to, and I keep saying this, like, this is probably going to be the thing that I'm most known for, but Christians fear the devil more than they love God. Like, they love God, but they are so scared of everything that they would sooner call everything demonic and of the devil than A, enjoy themselves, or B, try to find the God or try to find divine inspiration from the content that they watch. Which is also why I'm still kind of kicking myself in the butt because I haven't really been working on my Genshin Impact fan art series. Like, I've mainly been working on this animation, and even then, I haven't really been working on it or doing it in my free time. But there is definitely a lot that can be said, done, and expressed through divine inspiration and through godly inspiration. Like, and again, Farina's story in Genshin Impact was amazing. So for those of you who don't know, I mean, it's been out for like a month or two, I think. But essentially, Farina, who is the Hydro Archon, split her divinity and memories from her soul and body, essentially making herself fully human. And she was playing this long con, this long gambit, to where she can gather enough faith and energy to destroy her divinity, destroy the seat of the Hydro Archon, and return the authority to the proper owner, the Hydro Dragon, so that the Hydro Dragon can cast the final judgment and save the people of Fontaine because they are not true humans. Rather, they are like oceanids, like these water fairies who loved humanity so much they wanted to be human. And Fontaine, okay, Genshin Impact has a lot of Christian inspiration, but Fontaine specifically has a lot of Jesus and like Farina and Fossilor are essentially Jesus. Like, I'm just going to go outright and say it. Like, you have, you know, humbling like humbling themselves to a human form, the final sacrifice, dying on the cross, like their final execution, forgiveness of sins. It's all there. It's all there, but I can definitely tell that if I were to present this to my pastor or to a member of my church, then they would say like, "Oh, Bosa Lord, that's the name of a demon." Like, "Oh, you have these gods who are doing X, Y, Z. There's only one God above all," and they would not see the story for what it is, which is, in all honesty, bringing people closer to God because it is through seeing these different elements it is through seeing these different aspects and story elements that can relate us closer to our God, to Christ, to the God of the Christian faith. because it makes you think and it puts you in that personal space. Even the moments leading up to that final cutscene, it heavily reflects and it heavily resembles God's final days, where God was betrayed by his closest friends. Essentially, Aether, the player character, we play as Judas. We're essentially Judas, to where, you know, Farina trusted our main character the most, to the point where she was actually about to spill her secret that, she wasn't the real Hydro Archon to us, and then we betray her. And then she was put in front of a court of her peers to be tried and executed, much like how Jesus was. There is a lot of Christian parallels. And when I say that, it was like, it was really strange when I was playing through it and when I was watching the cutscenes, because it was like I cried during it, but I didn't know why I was crying. Like, I felt so guilty for Fossilor, and I felt so guilty for the character. I felt like genuinely bad and had like a genuine human connection through this story, until it took me some time to process it. And I'm like, this is essentially a retelling of the Passion of the Christ. Like, this is essentially a retelling of God's death and his crucifixion. That's why I was feeling that way. That's why it was so horrible. That's why, like, I was so upset, because this is a artistic rendition of the death of Christ. And it does something magical. It brings me closer to my God when I am able to play through and see something like that in real time. Like, it wasn't the exact crucifixion of Christ that happened in Genshin Impact, but it was events and it was a style of play that is heavily inspired by and heavily drawn inspiration from. And when I tell you that after that day, I read the entire book of Jeremiah, like I did. Like I read the entire book of Jeremiah. I was rereading Psalms and all of it. And John 3:16, I was just going through my Bible, and like I was doing one-to-one comparisons of everything that was going on. Like, this is this is amazing. But most Christians will not be able to get that. Most Christians will not be able to understand that. They take something at face value, ignoring the treasure trove of relation and the treasure trove of empathy and understanding that could have come from what they would have experienced. But I do have to remember that not everyone is like me. And not everyone is going to be on the same level or constitution as me. To where some people, believe it or not, and I just had this realization that some people are not as developed or as far along on their spiritual journey as me. And that's not to say that there are levels or it is an easy, like, ascension grid. Rather, people perceive things and people are going on different journeys or at different understandings or pursuits of knowledge. So when I say that people are on the same level as me, what I'm saying is that people aren't. How do I put it? People aren't as ready or willing to take concessions with their belief yet. People aren't, which is why this is something that Christian scholars have a better understanding of or a better diction with is as, and I'm not saying like scholars who are Christian, I mean people who study the Christian faith and religion, and many Judeo Christian scholars. They are able to take concessions, see comparisons, and sort of view things through a more philosophical lens. And that's the thing is there is in fact a sort of, not a sort of, but there is a mockery of Christianity that goes on in the world. Like, many people mock Christianity, but people are defensive of Islam and people are defensive of other religions like Buddhism. So there is definitely a room and place to for Christians to argue like, oh, Has Been Hotel, Genshin Impact, all these other Christian inspired shows, they're mocking Christianity. Which, yes, Christianity does get mocked quite often. But I genuinely do not see mocking or insulting of religion. I see genuine questions being posed because at what point at what point do these questions get asked? Eventually these questions are going to have to be asked. Eventually these things are going to have to be talked about and thought about. And even the Bible itself states that the devil himself is the author of delusion and confusion. The devil seeks to confuse you, whether rather God seeks to enlighten you and help you understand. You can come to God with any question and he'll have an answer, and it'll either be in his book, or he's going to show you, or he's going to bless you, or he's going to put you down a path or put you down a route to where you are able to understand something and seek the answers. Not seek the answers for yourselves, but he will enlighten you. Rather, the devil will force you to doubt. And God does not make you doubt, but what he does do is he will present things in a way that makes you try to think and understand things on multiple different levels. He seeks to inform and teach you. So, in asking these questions, in posing these quandaries, and in looking inward and in looking outward divinely, you will find answers and you will find a deeper understanding that you were searching or looking for. It may not be immediately. You may have some pitfalls because everything is a process. Like, God could have snapped his fingers and the world would have been made instantly, but no, he wanted to take his time. Everything happens in God's own time. So when I say that there is a process to this, like, we're only 6 episodes in Has Been Hotel. We haven't even seen the ending. We don't even know if Jesus or God are characters in the Has Been Hotel universe, because it stated that, at least in the first episode, it was stated that the angels created humanity and XYZ. We haven't even seen God or Jesus. So despite there being some moral quandaries of like, oh, doing good things should get you into heaven, even in Christianity, that teaches you that that is not the case, that it is through the grace of God and Jesus themselves, and because you are saved by Jesus, you act with faith and you act in good faith. That leads you to heaven, not just being a good person, but knowing that you are saved by the grace of God. But in a world that Has Been Hotel posits to where Jesus does not exist, so he could not have been the, at least in the Has Been world. I'm not saying collectively, but in the Has Been world, it has not been stated yet or not if Jesus is a character in that world. And so if Jesus is not a character in that world, then that means that there was no sacrifice. There was no humbling of God. There was no final sacrifice for our sins. So you are actually looking at Has Been Hotel as sort of this, what's it called, Old Testament lens of the Garden of Abraham, or like, what was it called, Abraham's cradle, where folks would lie in their graves to wait final judgment. So that's what we're getting. We're not getting the immediate like destruction of hell and Jesus coming down to save everyone. And again, it's a lot. It's a lot to think about, because then that poses a question, and you can ask God, like, "Hey, God, like, what if Jesus never came? Well, then it would be a lot harder to get into heaven." And so that's sort of what Has Been Hotel is harking on. I mean, but I would tell Christians to just wait and see until we get deeper in the series, because again, we don't know. And I know I'm supposed to be talking about my own art, but this relates back to me because I, as an artist, I, as an animator, am in fact seeking to draw inspiration from the Bible for my stories. Witches 13 is heavily inspired by the book of Revelations and the book of Enoch. Like those are the two big books and two big sources for my show's inspiration, which is why I have such a strong connection to talking about religious matters, and which is why I'm not shy or afraid to talk about it. Like I'm not afraid to talk about anything. I could talk about anything. I'm not afraid of being struck down. I'm not afraid of let me change that because I'm not trying to be too bold. As a Christian, I fear God, but I am not afraid of talking about God because out of all the people in creation, I know that God is the one person I can turn to and talk to about things. Again, like just the thought of Hasbin Hotel does not make me question it. It does not make me question my faith, but it definitely helps me think deeper about it because there is definitely a push and there is definitely a practice of not questioning and just taking everything at face value, especially when it comes to Christianity, but and the faith, but questioning does not disprove faith. Questioning can further strengthen one's resolve in their faith. But like there could be Christian philosophers, there could be Christian stories that are driven on the inspiration of Christianity. There could be like many different stories that draw inspiration from Christianity and the Judeo Christian faith. But because many people villainize you or call you a heretic or call you demonic or trying to draw people or trying to draw people away from the faith, when you question, that is what has stunted the faith collectively. Is the demonization and the villainization of those who try to process what they're studying and what they're believing on a deeper level. Oh, hello, baby Joe. How are you? Look, I've just been talking about like Christianity and TV shows and how many of the old school pastors are losing the young because they just want folks to follow blindly, even though the young are going to young and ask questions. But old folks don't like questions. That's what I've been talking about. So, I mean, like, we are going in, like, it's only been, what, 40 minutes in my stream, and I'm already talking about religion. That's good to hear. Are you new to the stream or have you watched before? Cause your name does look familiar. So like you've either watched my streams in the past, like one or two streams in the past, or I might have seen you in like the comment section. Oop, I dropped my phone. Or I might have seen you in like the comment section of a video I must have watched somewhere. Cause that name does sound familiar. Oh well, welcome to the stream. It's good to see you. Welcome to Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. Here I animate and I just talk about stuff that comes into my mind. I also engage with my chat so you guys can ask me questions or ask my thoughts about something. Or we can just sit and chill out while I draw and do some art or some animation or something. This is my sit and chill series. Every Tuesday and Friday, we just sit and chill for however long we want. Oh, right now I am working on a fight animation. I'm doing my second pass. Let me actually turn off my. Oh, the onion skin is off. But essentially, I'm working on a fight animation. And right now, I'm working on my second pass. So that's what I'm doing. And while I work on my animations, my different passes, I like to talk about different stuff that's going on. How my day's going, any sort of concept or idea people like to talk about, and then I just talk about my character designs and the different projects I'm working on, stuff like that. And so this is actually a test animation and animation exercise for when I do more action scenes because long term I'm working on my own animated series. It is called The Seven Sages. It's about seven men and women who are seeking revenge for their righteous fury. They've each been wronged in some way and they're seeking either revenge or justice for it. Essentially, there was this event known as the Cascade, which brought magic back to the world. Around the year 2000, there was this meteor shower that blanketed the earth. It killed a few people, but those who survived, they either went into bunkers or they were able to get away from the carnage, and it caused it caused an element that was stagnant in the atmosphere to reactivate, leading to people having longer lifespans and the ability to use magic. So people can teleport, people can float things with their mind, people can do pretty much anything you can think of with this magic, which has led to a economic boom, sort of this both social, political, and environmental revival of where now people have longer lifespans, people have access to renewable energy, there are floating islands, there are hyperflora, hyperfauna, different stuff like that. And so, despite this being a new time and a new era, there are still echoes of the past that occur. Oh, hello, Johnny. How are you? You changed your name again. Oh, I'm just finishing up this. Well, not really finishing up, but I'm doing my second pass on this animation I've been working on. Wait, why are you using your father's? Never mind. It's not my business. Hmm. Speaking of animation, action animation is kind of my weakest, which is why I'm working on this short. It's supposed. I'm thinking like I may just downsize it because I had a plan for it to be like 12 seconds long, but I think I'm just going to stop at this. What was it, like the 8 second mark? Yeah, I think I'm going to stop at this like 9.5 second mark, and then I'll save the rest of it for a second pass because it's actually just it's a lot for me to work on and do. Oh yeah, I had to walk to the corner store. It's a good thing I live by a convenience store because I ran out. I ran out of coffee, and I'm one of those people where I just need to drink coffee every morning. I ran out of coffee like 2 days ago, so yesterday I'm like, fine, it's whatever. Like I had went downtown to like a I went to a restaurant downtown. First I went to a art gallery, then I went to a restaurant, then I just got some coffee at Starbucks. But today, this morning, I'm like, dang, I don't have any coffee in the house. So I had walked down to my corner store because I know that they sell coffee because I actually bought some instant coffee from them like a few months ago. I usually get my coffee at like Walmart or some other store, but I was just so desperate for coffee. I was willing to get anything, so I went to the gas station. They did not have any instant coffee, so I ended up having to buy some iced coffee, and then they also had some like these uh not whipped cream. It was like this buttercream filled vanilla croissants. So I had one of those and I had like an iced coffee. But I'm thinking, like after this stream, I might take the bus and go to the mall and get me a coffee. Because I'm just that desperate for something hot and warm. After the stream, of course, because you guys come first. Of course, I love coffee. I spent like 2 years on campus. There were like three different Starbucks on my campus. We had one in the student rec center. We had one in the library. There was a Starbucks truck that would be outside of the classrooms. And then there was another Starbucks, like literally 500 feet off campus. College kids love their coffee, okay? There's no other way to describe it. I remember drinking like 3 cups of coffee a day. And then we had our mess hall, our, what's it called? Not the mess hall, the cafeteria, which had like four different kinds of coffee. They had like medium roast, dark roast, decaf, and then there was like a mystery blend. Like sometimes it would be black silk, or I think Colombian roast and different stuff like that. And yeah, I would like have coffee in the morning, going to the mess hall when I just woke up. Then I would like go to Starbucks right before class or like right after class before I did my homework. I love coffee. Love it. I can't get enough. And then folks say to me, "Oh, you're too young for coffee." I'm like, "No, I'm not." Or like you don't need coffee. Old folks like me need coffee, and I'm like, I'm a college student. I need coffee. Or like I was a college student. I got a caffeine addiction. Y'all can't just be policing who can and can't drink coffee. But if I'm being completely honest, I actually started like regularly drinking coffee when I was, I want to say 12 or 13. Oh, I'm 23. I'm 23 right now. Now, I really started drinking coffee when I was around 10, but it was only like once in a blue moon. Because my mom, she would get donuts from Krispy Kreme, and I keep forgetting that not everyone who watches me is from America. But essentially, there's this donut shop called Krispy Kreme, and my mom would get me like these donuts with chocolate icing and sprinkles. And so when I was around 10, like every time I get one of these donuts, I would also get me like a cup of coffee to drink it with. Because, I liked the police when I was younger. And I said, oh, it's cool. Like, policemen drink coffee and donuts, so let me have like coffee with my donut. And that led to a long spiral of now every time I have my coffee, I need to eat something sweet. Like it doesn't matter if it's a donut or a cupcake or a pastry or a cinnamon roll or a Danish. Like give me a cup of coffee that's either that has espresso in it or is like light on the cream and sugar, and then give me some type of pastry on the side. And that's just how I've always rolled, and that's how I've always operated. Tea, you gotta have tea every morning. That's fine. Tea is better for you. Like coffee has its own benefits, but tea holistically is better for you because there are different blends of tea. Like I'm no tea connoisseur expert, but like there are some mixtures that can calm your nerves or boost your immune system or different things like that. And I know you've probably seen it already, but I do know that chai means tea. Because, like, there's this whole meme and there's this whole moment in Across the Spider Verse where Miles says, I like chai tea. And then Moonbot and Spider Man is like, chai means tea. So don't worry. I know that chai. I know that chai means tea. Yeah, that was a whole debacle. Like, chai means tea. You're saying tea tea. Like, I'm not gonna go into it. It's a whole moment. It's a whole era. It's a whole generation. Ooh, I got some more people. Hello, everyone. Three concurrent viewers. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. We're just chilling here, talking here and there about our day, how everything's going. So if you have any comments, concerns, things you'd like to say, or questions you'd like to ask, please drop them in the comment section. I'm thinking I might do my little PNG in the bot. I might like redo my PNG in the bottom right corner because my skills have gotten better. Like, and I do want to do something that's not necessarily cuter, but is more detailed and better. You're gonna follow me everywhere. I mean, if you want to, you can just stay on YouTube if you want. You don't have to follow me everywhere. My Twitter is just me talking about stuff, and then like if I find a nice restaurant downtown, I'll post about it. I mean, what I'm trying to say is don't feel forced to follow me everywhere. Follow me where you want to. I'm not trying to shoot you down. Just, follow me where you want to. If you like my art, if you like my animations, if you like me talking, then follow my YouTube channel. If you if you like the random things that I post about, then follow my X or Twitter. I'm not really on Instagram like that anymore, even though I still have it. I just don't post like that. Like I've decided to concentrate solely on YouTube because even though I'm over my issues, there is still a history between me and Instagram. Instagram was a place where I had a lot of art envy, and I was, again, I'm human, but I was like very angry at other artists who were getting ahead of me. Like I never was in anybody's comment section cursing them out or anything, but like there were moments and times, and this was also during my bad college moments where I'm like, okay, I'm posting regularly, I'm doing X, Y, Z. Why am I not getting follows? Like, why is everyone getting more likes than me? So there was just a point in time where I decided, okay, I'm just going to get off Instagram and I'm going to just focus on YouTube or focus on my art in different places. Because attempting to make a name for yourself can weigh on your soul. There's almost like a taint or a corruption there. So when you are trying to, and even then, like I don't even think that I'm actively looking for work on YouTube anymore. It's more so just I'm more so making videos to help me grow in my animation, and because while I do need a following for my animation studio in the future, because I'm gonna need to farm that social capital if I'm going to open a business one day. But what I'm trying to say is I've dedicated taking my time when it comes to YouTube, and I'm not going to get angry or upset because I know that people are going to rewatch my old content. Whereas in places like Instagram, it's very much about consistency and constant posting, which is something that I don't want to weigh heavy on my soul. I would say that animation is not hard. It is time consuming. Like, let me actually zoom out of this and sort of scroll through it. But all of this, and keep in mind, this is just the rough path. Like, all of this took about 3 weeks for me to create. The animation starts with like this lower thirds where the figure is in like the bottom left screen, and then he does like a quick curtsy, not really a curtsy, but a quick like dash forward, getting ready for an attack. Then I'm going to have to go back and I'm going to have to animate the visual effects of him sort of blurring and fading from existence, becoming like a trail of energy. And then this camera panel is all hand animated, where it shifts from this cinematic camera angle to more of a top down. And this guy who is encased in energy sort of dashes forward and slams straight into him. And you actually see a shockwave of his attack being animated outward. Then it has the enemy returning his own attack, and then they trade blows. Then they get up, and then they turn into energy and clash with each other. And again, this is all just a simplified rendition. There is such a thing in animation as simplification, where you just animate something or where you just draw something to get the general idea and concept about, but then 2 or 3 layers later, you're adding like sparks flying and motion blurs, or you're hand animating in other effects. Like I may animate that the ground is shaking, or that there's rubble and dust being kicked up as they clash with each other. Then again, this is a zoom in on his foot and a pan up to like his body. He is then creating a magic circle that has a crest inside, and he is winding up that magic circle and getting ready for an energy blast to shoot at his opponent. As his opponent disappears, the camera then turns around to face him full frontal. You see the energy blast collecting. And again, this is all simplification because through multiple different passes, you add more detail, you add more work to it, you add more to the process. And then another hand animated camera pan where you see the energy blast flying. And again, I've already done a first pass of this, but I did go back and I added sort of these particles being ebbed off of the energy blast. And then this is another animated panning of following the energy blast as it moves to the target. It comes into contact, and you actually see as it shifts over from this blast to then spaghettifying and thinning out and sort of hitting the target. And then, right as it does, explosion. And then all of this smoke is hand animated. Now, this segment right here, I was actually watching Castlevania Nocturne. I'll see if I can pull up the clip. I mean, it'll only be like at most 10-15 seconds. So YouTube isn't going to strike down my video. So let me mute my mic and find the clip real quick. I'll be right back. Now, this segment right here, where you see his hands and he sort of collects his magical energy and slams it on the ground. Now, this animated segment, I was actually inspired by Castlevania Nocturne, and it's sort of this scene right here where Maria, she, and what they did was that they animated all that on, I want to say, threes and fours. And I couldn't, and I've already made an entire video on threes and fours, essentially, where you use spaced out frames in order to sort of have these very, what's the word I'm looking for? Cinematic scenes where action is going so fast that the only way you can express it is through just a series of different stilled images because everything is so fast. But when it actually gets played back, there's actually a lot going on in the animation. Like, if you, it takes a while, but you sort of have to, as an animator, slow down your perception of reality. And what I'm saying sounds like a crazy person. Like when I say it out loud, it makes me sound like I'm crazy. But as animators, we slow down our perceptions of reality in order to try to figure out and find the different key moments and frames that can be expressed through the animation, and we know what we can and can't add in order to draw out the narrative. So this like quick segment right here was inspired by that scene in Nocturne. And so the energy sort of wells around the figure and he transforms into sort of this demon version of himself. And again, I actually draw a lot. I wouldn't say I draw a lot of inspiration, but another aspect I like about Has Been Hotel is the demon forms and the demon transformations of like you have your base form and then you have sort of like this your true form that comes out when you're angry, and that's another thing I very much like about it. Let me actually pull it up real quick. Oh, hello, you two. Neo, I think you're new, but Sunny or MC, you've been here before. So how are you two? Welcome to Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. Welcome to my channel. At Owoh's Corner, we animate on Tuesdays and Fridays. We just chill out and we talk or we go over different subjects while I draw and animate. That's pretty much what we do here. But I'm just going over my animation process and sort of the different animation especially when it comes to 2D animation, is an evolving practice where animators see what others do and what others accomplish, and they seek not just to mimic but to also expand upon it and to learn and grow from each other so that they can make better content in the future. That's definitely something I seek to do and I enjoy doing. Like I was just talking about Castlevania Nocturne and how they used just a series of still images to have their action scenes and to express their action scenes, which is something that I wanted to adapt for a segment of my animation. And then, like the demon forms or like the angry forms that we see in Has Been Hotel and Help a Boss are also something that I want to adapt as well. Thank you. Animation is a process, it's a time consuming process, and this is a fight animation, which is why I'm thinking of downsizing it. So, more than likely, I'm just going to stop at this 9-second mark and I'll save the other half for a future animation where I will have the time to work on it. Right now, I just want to focus more on my action scenes because these, even though these are less detailed, through the different phases and through the different layers I go through on this, there's going to be more effects than just what I roughed out in this first scene. And I left my onion skin on. Because Johnny was talking about choosing a field or choosing a you're thinking about choosing a career and you thought about animation. And I will never knock anybody. If there's something that you love, if there is something that you're passionate about, seek it out, do it, explore it. Just understand the ins and outs of it. Like many anime like here's the thing, I am an in-betweener. Like that is my bread and butter. That is what I enjoy the most, which is animating the in-between frames for animation. So I understand that process. Like I do the time consuming work. A lot of animators will just go over the roughing process or the storyboarding, but me, I like to get down dirty and gritty with it. Like I like to go over, you're gonna be drawing this stuff 2 times, 3 times, maybe even 4 times. You're gonna have to go back, you're gonna have to add different layers. You're going to have to you're going to be having to add different layers. You're going to have to animate different particle effects. You're going to have to think up how their hair moves, if their hair moves at all. You're going to have to consider flowing fabrics. And then I'm going to be honest, sometimes I forget to draw the ears. Like, I'm just going to be honest with it. Like, I'm going to be honest and humble. Sometimes I forget to draw ears. Other times I forget to draw different hair accessories. Like this character right here, he has long dreadlocks that he wears tied back and he has a red ribbon in his hair. Sometimes I forget to draw that red ribbon because in 2D animation, you can sort of cheat a little bit and you can hide things behind layers. But there's still wave principle and fabric principle of like flowing fabrics and things that flow in the air. So I will forget to animate certain aspects or characteristics. Like it's eyebrows and small accessories that I forget to draw the most, which is something that I need to work on. Something that I really, really need to work on. If you heard like a loud noise, that was me tapping my graphic pen against my desk. It's not really golden hands, it's much more patience. The only thing with me is at times I feel guilty for how long it takes for me to work on an animation. Like I'm just gonna be honest and come out with it. Like sometimes it takes me a while to work on an animation. It takes me a while to finish an animation. And I'm like, dang, like what am I doing? Like why is this taking me so long? And like I'm not gonna lie to you. Animation is hard. Animation is time consuming. And especially how the industry is right now, animation is very competitive and it's even getting outsourced to other countries. And I believe it's you, and I believe it's you who I talked to about this. It was either you or I think computer edits, maybe like another person who watches my streams. But Hollywood right now is demonic. Okay, that's really all that can be said. That's all that can be done. That's all that I can say about it. But right now, Hollywood is demonic. It's full of demons. Folks be doing the most up there, and it's just a horrible, like, you gotta sell your soul if you want a job in the industry. You need to like either know someone or know someone who knows someone. Everyone keeps telling folks like, "Oh, move to California." Meanwhile, California is on fire. California is flooding. There's crime, there's homelessness, there's a migrant crisis, there's low employment. Like folks be doing the most in California, yet the only way you can make it as an animator or a filmmaker or an artist is to move to California, and you like, what the hell? This place full of demons. Why does anyone want to go over there? But like that's really all I can say. It's California and Hollywood is full of demons, which is why for the past 5, 6 months, and even before that, before even the layoffs happen, and before the layoffs happen, before the strikes, the writer strikes and animator strikes happen, I've been telling folks like decentralize from California, decentralize from Hollywood, do this, do that. Oh, sorry, Angel, I keep forgetting. Like sidebar, I'm the kind of person where I see your screen name and I call you by your screen name. So it's kind of hard for me to immediately call people by their chosen names. But I'm gonna try. Like just catch me when I slip up. But as I was saying, like Hollywood is full of straight demons telling folks to come to Hollywood, come to California, work in a cafe, and then you'll see a director or you'll see an artist or animator. Give them your business card or pitch to them your story. When in reality, all those people just want is their coffee or they want their croissant and their Americano or their spiced latte. Like they're not looking to be pitched some idea because they got work in the next 5, 10 minutes and they're just killing time. That's the sad part. But folks be doing the most trying to make it in the industry when these people just sold you a hope, a wish, and a prayer. And I keep telling people, like, set up something at home. Do something at home. Work at home first. Like, set up a local studio if you can, or get some friends from college or something and go to your hometown and set up something there, because you are not going to make it if you keep listening to folks trying to wait till the industry has the space. Like, these people don't give anybody the time of day. Like, you got to be the one that takes a chance on yourself. You can't wait for somebody to take a chance on you. Which is why I like my channel, which is why I'm enjoying my channel, because this is like, I'm going to tell you guys my big evil plan. Right now, this is me biding my time. Okay, I am building up. I am waiting for my skills to get better. I am waiting for my skills to grow, evolve, and develop. And as soon as I'm able to, like, mark my words, once I get like 1,000 or 1,200 subscribers, I'm starting my own animation studio. Okay, like, I'm gonna get in contact with my local government. I'm going to find a place and I'm gonna set up shop and I'm gonna start working on my own shows and working on my own IPs, because this gig work ain't working. This telling folks to go to California ain't working. Like, there are so many cities and states that would love. uh GD Cat, like, are you asking for a commission? It depends on what you're looking for. Exactly, Angel, and it gives me experience. It de- Now, GD, if you're trying to get a commission, it depends on what you're looking for. Like, usually logos and banners are $60. I would say that just headshots of a character would be 50. Like, head to torso or head to bust, that's going to be a bit more expensive. And then the price fluctuates depending on if I'm doing a digital painting or if I'm doing a cel shaded image. But if you would like a commission from me, GD Cat, you can email me or you can message me through my other social media. I try not to solicit my business during my streams. I try to just keep these streams more, we're just folks chilling and vibing here. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yes, my evil plan to uproot the media and entertainment industry and rule it my way with an iron fist. It's to bide my time. It's to bide my time, build up my skills, and build up enough social capital for me to have my own launchpad platform. So then, once I can find local talent, because I'm just going to tell you straight up, when I start my business, I'm not going to be outsourcing. Like, I'm not going to be looking for people who are out of the state or even out of my like immediate city range. I'm specifically going for local talent because I want to push the idea that people should look for local talent. People should look for people who live in the same city as them, or at most in the out at the outskirts of a nearby city. You should not be telling people to drive cross country, move cross country just for a job that they're only going to have for like a 6 or 12 month contract, then they're going to be out of work. No, I believe in consistency. We believe in consistency over here. You can have your gig work somewhere else, but when you work for me, when I have you in my studio, when I have you working for me, you gonna be set for life. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say set for life because that's very bold talking about a startup company, but you know what I mean. Like, I don't believe in gig work. I believe in finding people and keeping those people. Shoot, even my interns are going to be paid well. Cause I don't need a lot of money to survive. Like, I'm just that kind of person. Like, I don't need to make $60,000. I don't need to make six figures just to survive. Like, I can survive off of anything. Because in that same vein, I am very much a, what's the word, social and biblical person. And what I mean by that is having family is good, but I do not believe that people should pick up and leave town once they are married. I believe in building communities. I believe that, if you have a good relationship with your parents, friends, cousins, aunts, and uncles, you should not need to move cross country for a job. You should be able to find something local and stay close to your family because that family is going to look out for each other. It's good, it's better to have family nearby so then you can save money on daycare. So then you can save money on education. So then you don't have to find a nanny or have to find a daycare or have to find something else. You can have your grandmother look after the kids while you're off at work. Or you can have like because when I was growing up, I had weekends at my grandma's house. Like and then my mom didn't even do anything wild or crazy. My mother wasn't even a partier. She just said like, "Hey, go to your grandma's house for the weekend, hang out with your cousins, and like have a sleepover with your cousins." Just because she wanted me to have that relationship with my grandmother and with my cousins. And like there are other reasons why, my family isn't close now. But for the most part, we all have a good relationship with each other. And when I say communal living, I'm not saying like, oh, your uncles and aunts all have to live in one house. What I mean by that is you and your family, you and your immediate family, should stay in somewhat close proximity with each other. Because even when you look at the Bible, there are stories of like when you got married, you weren't expected to leave the house. When you got married, you didn't go to a foreign land. No, like you got the property that was right next to or at least the next property over from your parents. So then you can work until the land or you can do your job while your parents still did their job. And then you could easily go to your parents' house for like social gatherings or to check on your family or to just stay by in case anything happened. Like that is what needs to return is the communal aspect and the communal living and the communal beliefs of life. It shouldn't just be mom, dad, brother, sister, and dog. It should be grandma, grandpa, cousins, so on and so forth. This is how these sit and chill streams go about. Like I'm just here animating, drawing, working on so and so, and then like I'm dropping these eggs. Like I'm dropping these good tidbits of life for people to listen to. And that's fine. That's completely fine. Like that's what I'm here for. Like, I'm a nice person, but once you get me talking, I talk, baby. Once y'all get me talking about life and talking about what's going on in this world, I talk. And I can go on for hours. I've actually, it's actually an hour and 41 minutes right now, so I actually have almost reached the 2 hour mark, which is really good. Thank you. I'm glad to have given you a good experience. Look, I just talk while I'm drawing. That's really all I do. Is I animate, I work on the stories that I wish to tell, and then I talk while I do it. And like I say every single stream, you guys can come and go as you wish. You guys can come and go as you please. Don't feel like I'm keeping you here, trapping you guys here. Like if you want to leave for a few minutes and come back, that's fine. Thank you. Have a nice day, Nia. Thank you for stopping by. If you want to subscribe, you can. If you don't have to. But you are welcome to come back. My voice is soothing. Oh, thank you. Now, I do not teach, but you actually did give me something that I wanted to segue into. There was a job posting with my local government where they are looking for art teachers, and I did apply for it. Now, growing up, I was sort of like my family's go to babysitter, and also I took an art education course while I was in college. So I do know how to teach and I do know the fundamentals of teaching. It's like a position with my local art center where I come in and I teach teens, young adults, and even families how to do art. Like I can choose whatever subject I want. Like I can do figure drawing or sketching or design, stuff like that, character design, what you name it. Like they're going to give me the minutia if they hire me on, if they take me on. But honestly, I'm very excited for that position. I would love to do it. And it's a part time position that's like $30 an hour, which, even though it's part time, it's definitely a whole lot better than where I'm working right now because I got to deal with some crazy. Ooh, I don't even want to finish that sentence. But like, I deal with some quite a few interesting people, quite a few interesting people where I work. So like, if I get that job, I would definitely be thankful. Like I'd be praying, I'd be saying, "Thank you, Lord, thank you, Jesus, for this job." But what was I saying? Oh yes, you were talking about teaching. Hopefully, I get this job so then I can teach because there's a bunch of different things that there's a lot of knowledge I have that I've grown and I've understood that I just want to share with people. And it's not just like the practical fundamental things of art and animation, but it's also more independent things that I've learned, like having an idea, having a plan for your future, not putting all your eggs in one basket, starting a social media, especially starting a social media early, so on and so forth. And not just for people who seek animation or art as a career choice, but even those who seek art or animation or whatever as sort of a project piece or as a hobby. There's still much that can be learned and taught. Like, you are definitely going to improve your most when you are making content for the internet because thank you for that. But I'm in another country. Sad for me if you teach, as I am already getting good vibes from you in your art. Thank you. Because I have learned long ago that art is not the pursuit of perfection. Art is the constant pursuit of self improvement. There is no getting good enough until you find a job. There is no getting good enough or holding off until you're ready. It's you have to grow and develop and you have to be better and improve from your previous piece. Like, the pursuit of art is a lifelong pursuit. That's just honesty. That's just being real. Cause there are people who I have met in college and people who I've re-met who I've known in college and who have sort of fallen out with their art. Like, even my RA, his major was, I believe, effects or it was technical artistry. And he's working in retail. Like, he was doing training in the store where I'm working at. And I asked him, like, how's your art going? He said, like, oh, I fell off with it, or oh, I'm not doing as much art as I have done in the past. Like, I want to wait till I get better. And I just told him straight up, like, if you wait till you get better, you'll never achieve or attain anything. Like, you have to be posting, you have to be constantly doing projects, you have to be constantly working. And it's not like work in the traditional sense of like a 9 to 5 work. Now, it does benefit you if you do look at art as almost a 9 to 5. Like, for a while, I did view art, at least until I found my retail job, as a 9 to 5 where I would constantly do art and I would constantly draw. And I was just a naturally creative person to where I could constantly think of different things to animate and different things to work on. So I could always think of different things to work on or different small projects to come back to and do consistently until they were posted. That's me. I haven't touched my pencil for 4 months because of school. And, like, I'm gonna be honest, I play video games. Like, I play video games, or I may find a nice show on Prime Video, or I might binge watch YouTube. But even then, like, I keep Adobe Anime and I keep Photoshop open in the background for me to, like, at least touch on my art while I'm watching something in the background. But sometimes what really helps me the most are those sit down times where I just sit down and I have nothing going on in the background while I'm just sitting and drawing. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, I was talking about art. Sometimes to keep doing art, sometimes to keep animating or drawing or to keep yourself consistent, you have to trick yourself or you have to. Oh, when do I live stream? I stream every Tuesday and Friday around. I start at like 10, at the latest like 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that may be because I know another viewer of mine, it's usually like, I believe it's like 11 p.m. or 12 a.m. his time when he's watching my streams. Like, there's some people in the Philippines or in the Middle East who happen across my streams and they just hear me talk while they go to bed, which is perfectly fine. I don't mind. I believe there should be a world clock. There's like a world clock. I remember there being like a world clock, and then it shows you the different time zones. But right now in Raleigh, so New York time, it's like 11:55. In London, it's 4:55. In Tokyo, it's 1:55 a.m. In places like where are you right now, Angel? You're in India. Let's see. Sort by city, country. So right now in India, it is 10:26 p.m. So for you, it's nighttime, but for me, it's like midday. It's noon, and I actually chose noon because if you actually look at other streamers, they don't stream midday. Their streams usually take place during the night. So I'm trying to capitalize that, that optimal time where folks are at lunch or where folks are like it's midday and they're just like trying to watch something to unwind or relax on their break. Like that's why I stream during the day. I'm a day streamer. I don't stream at night. So it's that big brain logic. I gotta stream during the day and during the times where other folks aren't online or when other folks aren't as popular. Like I rule the day. Okay, I rule the day. I'm not saying I rule it. I don't rule it yet, but I'm trying to rule it. I'm trying to be in charge of the day. I mean, I understand why schools, especially in the US, why they are now shifting away from phones. And especially foreign countries, I see why they are shifting away from phone usage because many countries around the world are looking at the US right now and our children are crazy. That's the best way I can subscribe it. That's the best way I can describe it is that American kids are crazy. Like there was this story of a schoolgirl who pepper sprayed her teacher to get her phone back. And say what you will. Okay, first of all, that's just crazy and that's just wild. And the fact that there are some grown adults who are saying like, "Oh, that teacher should give back the phone anyway." Like you have no right taking that student's phone. Like that's wild and that's crazy. But the issue I have is that I understand how things got this way. And it's not just about parents who don't want to teach or rear their children. It's not just about parents who put their children in front of a cell phone or in front of a computer or in front of the TV and call it a day. Because I am from that early generation of Gen Z where cyberbullying and where online abuse was very prevalent. So it was heavy on cyberbullying, and it was also during that time period where teachers were not doing their jobs. In America, people constantly talk about school shootings, and people constantly talk about like things that the kids and things that the students are doing. But what people ignore is the blatant disregard and the blatant abuse that some of the teachers commit. I'm just going to be straight up and I'm just going to be honest. There were teachers who bullied students, okay? There were teachers who bullied students. There were teachers who ignored in class bullying and they actually victim blamed the students who were being bullied once they fought back or once they did anything. There were there are literally stories and it's literally common knowledge of teachers, male and female teachers, like ugh, this is on YouTube. I don't want to get shadow banned. There are there is evidence and there is avid history of male and female teachers having relationships with students. So, in all honesty, this is just a this is just a pendulum. Like the teeter totter, the seesaw is going on the other side now, to where there was a bunch of lawlessness coming from the teachers, and now there's a bunch of lawlessness coming from the students. The students don't care. The students are defending themselves. The students are doing whatever they want because for the longest time, no one challenged these teachers who were abusing kids or who were not doing their jobs and not defending the children and not defending the kids that needed help. So now you have students who are assaulting teachers, who are attacking teachers, who are doing whatever they want to do because to begin with, the teachers were acting corrupt as well. So you can't act in this rules for thee, not for me. You can't call out the students and you can't call out the parents when there is definitely history, there is definitely a precedent of teachers abusing students. Well, like, I'm just being truthful. Like, I'm just being completely honest. 100. Like, when I was coming up, some teachers were horrible. Some teachers were like really horrible. Like, they were. You can definitely tell, especially around that age, that there were teachers who were bullied in school, and they only became teachers so that they could, in some sick and twisted way, take out the anger they suffered on children who look similar to, or who aren't even related to, or who are stand ins for the kids that bullied them when they were coming up. Like, that's really all I can say. That's really all I can discern from it. So, yes, there is a lawlessness in the classroom, but it is a direct cause and effect of the lawlessness that teachers enacted. That there is a moral degeneracy at home, but there is also a correlation to the behavior of teachers of the past. Well, I'm glad that you are able to glean such a familiarity with me on that level. But in that same vein, what I would like to avoid is the creation or generation of parasocial relationships, because another thing that you see, especially online, is that people will be put on a pedestal, and then there is a almost direct or immediate fall from grace. So while I'm okay with you liking me, and I'm okay with anybody liking me, like, I'm just a genuinely nice person, and I try to be good, nice, and kind to whoever I meet. But don't put me on a pedestal. I'm not looking to be pedestalized. Is pedestalized even a word? I think I just made that up. I'm sorry. It's just I just follow the words that best fit me, or like I follow the words that I can best process, I guess you could say. What I mean by that is many times when it comes to online figures, like say celebrities or K-pop artists or VTubers or YouTubers, people will accidentally grow closer to them than they predicted. Like you begin seeing this person as a brother or as a close friend. And even though in some rare cases these people are genuinely nice, these people are genuinely kind, do not get confused or do not take the relationship farther than it needs to go. Like, hmm, just be careful with who you talk to and how far you go with people on the internet is what I'm saying. It exactly. I'm not trying to exactly. There are people who scam. There are people who can be too there are people who can take the relationship farther than it needs to go. So, and this isn't just about me, but this is like anyone and everyone. Is you can let someone entertain you. You can let someone speak to you or give you advice. You can listen to anyone, but don't get your connections with that person misconstrued. Because, and again, I always bring this back to the Bible, but the Bible does warn about idol worship, that you should not be worshiping anybody. So, like, I'm not trying to be a false idol. I'm just trying to. I mean, because I'm a small creator, it's easier for me to remember and it's easier for me to recall the people who are regular commenters. on my channel. So, of course, I'm going to remember people's names and I'm going to remember this person or that person. But eventually, when I do get big and when I do reach that level and that degree where I do have like hundreds of people in my live chat, I won't be able to remember each and every individual person. That's excuse me. That's just human nature. Like I may try to recall everybody, but I won't be able to recall every single person. And that's just being human. But that isn't gonna be for a while. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Someone's calling me. Hello? It was a robot call. Don't you just hate it when robots call you and they try to get you to buy something or do something or XYZ XYZ? If you don't recall me, then I am going to get your level. Maybe like in 5, 7 years, I will make you recall me. I mean, look, the more creators, the merrier. Okay, we need more creators. We need more artists, more animators, more everything. If you want to make a channel one day, I say go ahead and do it. I will never dissuade a person from starting their own channel. I will never dissuade a person from seeking things for themselves or on their own. Why would I be offended? I don't get offended by questions. You can ask me anything. Look, people can ask me any single question they want, and I will not get offended. You don't have any friends? Well, have you? Isn't isn't there like an anime club or maybe like a creative writing club you could go to at school? Now, how I made my friends, given today's climate, I wouldn't recommend it. But when I was coming up, I was like very much into fan fiction. Like I had very few to no friends IRL. So I would read fan fiction and I would also be a part of like role play forums like, your Naruto. Now that I like recall it, like I'm being reminded of all my cringe. But hit the stream and I'm already talking, so I might as well talk about it. But like I didn't really have many friends, so I would like read fan fiction and I would read fan fiction and I would be on like a role play forums for like Naruto and what's the other one? My Hero Academia. And so then I found like a small group of friends that I was like loyal with in high school that we would message often. And that was during the time when Discord popped up. So we started a Discord channel. And then at some point, Dungeons and Dragons got mentioned. So we started like playing Dungeons and Dragons together. And like I've had those close friends I've been close with for a while now. And then there have been new and different people who have joined, people from different Discord forums, people from different friend groups that cross over and we meet each other and we interact with each other. Have you tried being the art kid in school? Like the kid who has a sketchbook and they draw random stuff? And then when people ask you about your drawings, you just talk about them. Or you don't necessarily have to be an art kid, but find something that you like to do or that you like to enjoy, and then let the people come to you. Like this entire YouTube channel, it was founded on me doing what I like, doing what I enjoy, and people just naturally coming to subscribe and follow and watch my content. Because if you notice, I don't follow any fads. I don't follow any trends. I just do a live stream or post a video and people watch it. So, when it comes to art, I consider it both a career and hobby because it's something that I just love and enjoy doing. After that, I play a lot of video games. Like, I'll play Warframe, Genshin Impact. I have Elden Ring, I just haven't touched it in a bit. I like reading. I love reading. I don't really know if this is like a hobby or not, but I'll read my Bible. I'll also read like the Book of Enoch, and I have been looking into other apocryphal books and apocryphal texts, as well as just the Dead Sea Scrolls in general, because I like to expand my divine knowledge. I like to consider myself a bit of a divine scholar. Though I'm gonna be humble and not brag. And then I like watching YouTube. I love me some YouTube. Like I'll watch podcasts. I may watch the gaming video here and there, but I mainly watch podcasts or I watch different shows. I used to watch a lot of anime growing up, but I sort of halted off on that. And then when I'm not doing that, I'm either exploring downtown Raleigh. Like I like to walk around my city. I like to go to different restaurants. I like to get out the house and go to coffee or and go get coffee or go to a restaurant or something. And then what's the other thing I do? Talk to my friends on Discord. That's really like the big things I do. And then when I talk to my Discord friends, like we're talking about philosophy or we're talking about like the world or we have like or we come up with different games to run, different cyberpunk games or different D&D games to run. Um, and we talk about different character concepts we have. I have watched Demon Slayer, and Mitsuri is awesome. Like I'm caught up to the latest arc. I love Mitsuri. She is awesome. She is a great character. And being completely honest, Mitsuri actually reminds me of another character I like. It's another pink hair female character, Alicia from Honkai Impact. Like Alicia and Mitsuri are my two favorite characters. I just like characters who have a high capacity for love. Like that is a character trait. That is something that I love about characters, that I value in characters, are characters with a high capacity for love, characters with compassion, with empathy. Those are just traits I love and enjoy. Which is kind of why I've been working on some characters for my Seven Sages show. Like one of the tertiary characters, his name is Father Jovial. He's essentially a priest who is an angel. And he is very much that sort of like elderly, gentle soul. He's a sage. He's just a wise and holy man. And he's actually fragile, but also very powerful. Because, like, he has enough power to wipe out a city, but he's very graceful with his power. Like, he doesn't express his power. Like, he could finish any conflict he wanted to, but he chooses not to because he lets people grow and develop. And so, in the Seven Sages story, the many of the main characters as well as the side characters are going to be coming into Father Jovial's church, and they're going to be like having confession or talking to the priest and like saying like, I've sinned or I've done this, I've done that, and like he will give them advice on how to go about it. So I just love compassionate characters. Now, I haven't really watched K dramas. I'm much more into K action, like Sweet Home. What's the other one called? It's Sweet Home. Uh, Alice in Borderland. There was another one I watched. It was about a girl who was seeking revenge because she was bullied growing up. Dang, I forgot the name of it, but it was really good. Um, I'm much more of a fan of like action, sci-fi, and cyberpunk. Oh, those are K dramas. I thought K drama was like not slice of life. Yeah, yes, glory. Um, but thank you for giving me the name. I thought K drama was like, oh, you slept with my husband, or oh, we did this, we did that. Like I thought that's what K dramas were like. I thought like K action and K drama were two different things. But that's on me because I don't understand. You see, again, the far east and the west are two different places because we name and title our stuff different things. Like in the west, a drama is like social drama or political drama, whereas in the far east, drama is like character regression and the emotional roller coasters that are like the subset and in the background of like a farther more action filled plot. You see that's that's why places like China, Japan, India, and even Africa, their content is going on the rise and people are enjoying it more. People are tuning into overseas content, whereas in the West, folks are just tuning out because it's more of the same stuff. It's more of the dry, humorless stuff. Like, but you know what they say? No king rules forever. Like that's just the truth. No king rules forever because if you, because at one point the West was like the pioneer of like content and media. Now it's just gone downhill. And I could go into like the wokeness of it all, but I'm not going to. I'll save that for a future stream. Ooh, cause I have a tirade to go on for the woke. Like I could call the woke people out, and this isn't just something like oh go woke go broke, but like even like the deeper issues of like, cause when I was in college, ooh, let me tell y'all about my college days. Now you got me talking now. You shouldn't have mentioned that. You shouldn't have mentioned K series, cause now I got to talk about my college days. But when I was in college and I was pursuing my animation degree, let me tell you, I would use the computer labs to work on my personal projects. I would use the computer labs, and sometimes I would listen in, or I would be in the classroom while other classes were going on. And when I tell you that they had no black men in that college, they had no black men in that classroom, in that study hall. There were no black men. All the people who were accepted into the concentration were women or were white women. There were a few black women here and there, and I only saw one or two other black men. Yet they still talk about diversity and inclusion and all this other stuff when they ain't even accepting black men. And, ooh, you got me heated now. You shouldn't have said that. You y'all got me talking. By the way, where are you from? I forgot. So I am from the U.S. I'm from the U.S. I'm from North Carolina, but my name Amobi Owoh. My dad is from Nigeria, so he gave me like a Igbo name, which is something that I definitely love. I love it. I'm appreciative. I'm appreciative of it. Every chance I get, I say thank you, Dad, for the name you gave me. I thank God for the name I got because it's a beautiful name and I love it. Amobi is short for Amobi Chukwu. That means nobody knows the heart of God. My last name, Owo, is a shortened form of Owo Luo Nochi, which is an Igbo phrase for as you take, it replenishes itself. Now, my middle name is Michael. And for those of you who may or may not know, Michael is I believe, Michael is one of God's angels. He is the Word of God, I believe. So, yeah, my name is very spiritual. My name is a very biblical name. And, like, even my grandmother, when she was still living, she said, "Oh, you're destined for great things." Like, got my hopes up. I mean, I'm still happy. I'm still thankful for my name. And each day I try to fulfill my name, do the right thing, and do whatever I can to spread happiness and joy to people. Like that's one of the big things I try to do is to just be a kind soul to people. Cause like we have so much corruption in the world. We have so much evil going on in the world. So if I can just grant someone, oh, I'm black. I'm a black man. You don't get Owoh and Owoh's corner from White. This I'm sorry. I hate to say that may be me saying something too far and going too far, but Owoh is definitely a black name. I'm a black man. I am a black man, proud of it. Thankful every day for this name I got. Thankful every day for the life I live. Oh no, again, I am not getting upset at any questions you ask. Questions are questions. Feel free to ask anything. I will never shoot down a question. I love questions cuz I like talking about people because even when I am asked a question, sometimes I don't I'm not even going to say sometimes. Most of the time I don't even know the answer to the question and it takes me a second to think. Like I like questions because it makes me think. I'm not a person who just has the answer, nor am I going to act as though I have the answer. I just think through a question and give you the conclusion I come up with. And sometimes I do know the correct answer, but more often than not, like when people ask me live questions, like I don't know the answer. I just like think through it. Curiosity is good. Asking questions, it's good. Because, okay, and again, I'm going to keep relating it back to the Bible. Questioning is not wrong. It is never wrong to question because many times Moses asked questions, Jeremiah asked questions, Joshua asked questions, Job asked questions. Folks constantly asking, God, why you forsaken me? God, do you really think I can lead my people to freedom? God, what happens if this happens? What happens if that happens? And every single time in the Bible, God always gives folks the answer, or they help, or God helps them through their problems so that they can make their own conclusion and answer. Asking questions is not wrong. Questioning things is not wrong. Because that's what happens when you are a sheep. Sheep are expected to sheep are expected to be curious. Sheep followers, whatever you want to say, you are expected to be curious and ask questions, and it is fine to ask questions. It's fine to ask questions, just accept and be open and willing to the answer. So any question you got for me, ask it. Cause I'm a curious person myself. Even I don't know the answer. I'm just gonna be honest. Like I don't know everything. I'm 23 years old. I don't know everything. You think a pastor knows everything? You think you think Stephen Hawking knows everything? You think Einstein knows everything? You think Martin Luther King when he was still living, he knew everything? No. And I'm only 23. I've only been on this earth for 23 years. And even though I have my own experiences, and yes, even though there is a wisdom in the young and there is a wisdom in the youth, I still do not know everything. People get offended by questions usually because they have an unresolved doubt in their minds and in their hearts. And they're not angry that you ask the question. More so, they are upset or they are concerned about a doubt that they have in their own mind. And instead of confronting it and showing humility towards it, they would much rather attack other people in order to double down in their own faith or in their own beliefs. At least that's my experience. Anyone who gets upset at a question, they have a doubt or they have an insecurity that they have not rectified within themselves. Ooh, that was like spiritual. Like I just like went through it. I just had like that was just spiritual. Like I just went through a trance and I said that. I just like that just felt like I should say that. Like sometimes sometimes I just spit things and I just say things that surprise even me. It isn't life amazing? Like isn't the world just interesting to where you can say things and do things in the moment that even you weren't expecting to say? I mean, I consider myself spiritual. I consider myself a spiritual man. I am a spiritual man. Very spiritual. I'm a Christian man, which is very rare for folks my age because most people have turned away from the church, and I understand why they've turned away from the church. Because again, despite the church being a very big and a very prominent community starter, it has been more so about the fear of the devil than the love and reverence of God. Because God would answer questions, God would think through problems and educate people. They wouldn't call he wouldn't immediately call things demonic. Like and that's the thing is God knows what's demonic and what's not. Like there is definitely a shadow world, a spiritual world. I'm a prominent believer of the spiritual world. Like I know that things carry certain messages. I literally what 10, 20 minutes ago I was talking about how Hollywood is full of demons, so I know that the spiritual world exists. But there are definitely times in the physical where stories are told, where things are expressed not to spark outrage, not to spark questioning or doubt in people, but rather as a reflection, which is why we have things like Bible study, which is why we have events, which is why we have discourse, which is why we have conversations, is because sometimes discussion isn't meant to spark doubt in people or to get people to shift their worldview. Most of the time, discussion and talking to people is meant for people to reflect on themselves. You cannot live in a bubble. You cannot exist in a bubble. You cannot be on your own. You need other people to reflect on yourself. That's why God gives you other people. Yes, you have God. Yes, you can rely on God. But even God knows that you need reflection. Oh dang, this stream has been going on for like 2 hours and 47 minutes, and and we talking about God again. I started this stream on God, and now I'm about to end this stream on God. You see how the Lord, you see how the Lord works. Have mercy. Oh wow, I'm up to 361 subscribers. Thank you all so much for following. I'm so very thankful and grateful. You guys are awesome. But I do think that it is about time for me to go. I don't want to hold y'all up for too long. Like I think I've kept y'all trapped here for long enough. I think y'all should go. You guys got better stuff to do. You guys got more stuff to do. I don't want to keep y'all trapped here. And I know I definitely got more stuff I need to do as well. But so far, this is how far I have gotten with my animation, with my second pass. And I do think that this is good. Oh yeah, speaking of, like, when I was animating this, let me actually see if I can. Ugh. My chair is squeaking. Like, this is supposed to be a new chair. And it's squeaking right now. I bet you guys can hear it already. This is so unprofessional. I apologize. Where is it? But when I was drawing the magic circle, I actually put like a cross in the center because it's supposed to be like a divine magic blast. But that's just like a small detail I wanted to share. We can talk about that later. Look, if God has a wife in store for me, then so be it. Right now, I'm married to God, so. But anyway, I do have to go now. I don't want to. You guys have better stuff to do. I know it's only you. I'm just. But people like to rewatch my streams and people like to watch back through. So I do need to do my regular outro. I gotta do my regular outro because people rewatch my streams. Like people come back and they scroll through it and cycle through it. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Thank you, Angel, for staying this far. You're awesome. You're amazing. And I'm so thankful for the people who have subscribed and who have stopped by along the way, who have enjoyed themselves. I stream Tuesdays and Fridays at 10 a.m. Tuesdays are my shorter days because I go to work those days, so I have to stream a bit shorter. Fridays are. Don't do that. You're not stupid. Angel, you are not stupid. Don't call yourself stupid. And hello, Infinite. You are back. You are here. Sadly, you have come at the close, at the end of the stream. So feel free to scroll back, rewind, and watch my stream earlier, Infinite. I mean, but thank you for coming nonetheless. You're awesome. You're amazing. What was I saying? Oh yes, I stream Tuesdays and Fridays. Tuesdays are my shorter stream days because I work later in the day. Fridays are my longer days, so those are when I do my 2.5 hour streams, so on and so forth. It is completely fine. You can always catch me on Tuesday or catch me on Friday, Infinite. Don't worry. So now, some bookkeeping things and some business. When I reach my, I'm thinking I may actually push it down to 500 When I reach my 500 subscriber mark, I'm gonna do an extra long live stream. That'll probably be like 4 or 5 hours long. When I reach 1,000 subscribers, I'll do a special Q&A live stream. And likely when I reach like 900 subscribers, I'll make a community post for you guys to leave your different questions you want to ask me. And then when I reach 1,000 proper, that's when I'll do my special Q&A. And yeah, those are like the two big milestones I got. Anyway, yeah. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share even. I love comments, any critique and criticisms you can give me. I love it. I enjoy it. If you have a friend, family member, or anyone else that you just want to share my channel with, then feel free to go ahead and share my channel with them. They can find me at Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video or live stream. Bye.